Hello and welcome to the Dino Six Pack Dynasty Football Podcast. We got a fun show planned today. I'm joined by a couple of guests here. We got my buddy Steve and CK. And here in about 15-20 minutes, we'll have our buddy Jamie joining us too. We got a 2024 Dynasty Football Rookie Mock Draft planned. Before we get started into that, we'll start here with Steve, man. How are you doing today?
Good. What's going on? Happy Easter or post-Easter.
I guess, yeah, just barely missing that. Yeah, man. You guys doing anything fun this weekend?
Man, my wife had all kinds of stuff. We had Easter egg hunt in the yard. I didn't do it. I'm a 40-year-old man. That'd be kind of weird. But my nephew did it. My children got out there. We put a couple dollars in the old egg, How about you? What'd you do? What'd you get into?
Man, low key over here. So luckily, we're our closest family. We have family about an hour away, but they were busy. And outside of that, it's about 8 hours. So my wife and I, we went golfing, man. It was like a perfectly chill day. It was sunny, got out there. Only did 9. First time this year, really been able to get out, but walked 9 holes. It was beautiful, man. What about you, CK? How you been?
I've been good. No children for me, so my Easter is a little more low key with the where I'm still, I suppose, considered one of the children. So Easter buffet, so no one had to do dishes because that's the worst part of Easter meals is you have to do the dishes afterwards. So we went to a buffet, a little pricey, good food though, and then just a little bit of family time at the end. It was lovely.
Yeah, it's a good way to kind of roll into the week here. So yeah, before we all get started here, make sure you guys head over to fantasy6pack.net/plans, become an all access member over there. And then on top of all the great content we put out on the site there, which is including your articles, rankings, DFS, betting tools. On top of all that, you're going to get access to our Discord forum, where you can kind of pop in there and get individualized fantasy advice for your specific leagues and your teams and things like that. And it's pretty fun. You can pop in there, people ask a question and tag the analyst, and they usually have 4 or 5 responses right away, if not more. So it's a good time. So make sure to head over there again. That's fantasy6pack.net/plans. Also hit like and subscribe here. And man, are you guys ready to hop into this draft?
Totally.
I am.
All right, let's get this pulled up here on the board. So Jamie has the first pick here, and he says what's up. So he should be here pretty quick on us here. Let me get this moved out of the way so we can see.
Jamie likes cornerbacks. This is not an IDP draft, Jamie. You can't have a corner.
So yeah, so like I mentioned before, he's going to be a little bit late, but he did send in his pick. So he's going to go a little bit different. So for this draft here, we are going Superflex tight end premium. And he's going, it's not like a crazy pick or anything like that. But he did say that he's going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. here to start it off here. So real quick, man, you guys got any thoughts on there? Have you seen that yet? Or are you pretty locked in at Caleb 101 in the Superflex league?
I'm pretty locked in at Caleb 101. I have Marvin at 2 though, so it's not like it's a massive rise for me.
Yeah, honestly, I have seen a couple places. The top 3, you can even probably argue top 4 is the way we think it's going to go. It all depends on the way you're trying to build your draft. You know what I mean? I can see it going either way. So not as shocking as I thought. Now, if he would have pulled up Enos Rakeshaw or Cooper DeJean, I would have been highly impressed.
I get your corners.
I think you'll see Harrison go 101 if you have a dynasty league where the team picking first maybe didn't earn that pick. They're kind of one of the teams are in the playoffs or in the middle, and then they have a decent quarterback or two, and they're able to grab Marvin Harrison Jr. But for the most part, I think we've mostly seen Caleb go 101. But let's move on over to 102. Where are you going, CK?
Yeah, I'll take Caleb at 1-2 here and take advantage of the little bit of a slide here, if you want to call it a drop for one's position. But I think Caleb typically going to go 1-1 in most drafts. So if I get him at 2 here, I will take Caleb.
Perfect. So let me start this draft here. All right, now you should be able to make that pick. My bad.
I think I might have to refresh it. Hold on.
We are professionals here, guys. Don't worry. We'll get it together.
That's right. Of course. Caleb Williams.
There we go. All right. On to Steve here. Where are you going here at 103?
Full disclosure, it's not my birthday, even though I feel like it is right now, because I just got gifted a 40 touchdown passing season with 72.2% completion percentage. Give me that Jaden Daniels, and I'll take him 1.3.
So I got similar thoughts. I feel like it's Christmas for me right now. So for me, I'm pretty much locked in. I haven't changed it. I'm a Drake May is my QB2 class. So to get him clear at pick 4, I will take that all day. So kicking it all waiting for Jamie to make his pick here. So we got Caleb, Daniels, May. That's probably going to be the order I think you'll see them go in most drafts. Don't you guys think?
Mm-hmm.
I've said before, I just think there's such a safe floor with Jaden Daniels for fantasy. I've said it before because of the rushing production. He's just so much safer to me than what Drake May offers for fantasy. I think Caleb is the most upside, but I think Jaden Daniels just offers that safety because I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't average 70 plus yards rushing a week.
Yeah, took the words out of my mouth. You can argue QB2, QB3. It's potato. What are you doing? I kind of did it for variety, but you're right. To me, he's a safer floor. He can pass. He can run. Run more like a Mahomes type, not like a Lamar Jackson, of course. But yeah.
I don't know. I feel like with May, I feel like it's not. I'm not saying he's going to be the next draft, but I just feel like it's similar things here where he's kind of getting knocked because he's not as much of a runner. But you saw like what he can do, and I feel like he's got one of the safer floors in this class. So yeah, give me Drake May there at 104. I'll be taking him ahead of Jaden Daniels anywhere that I get the chance here. And then moving on here, we got 5 and 6. We got Neighbors and Odunze. So with the tight end premium there, Odunze over Bowers there. How close was that one for you?
That was the decision right there. So I have Rome at 6. I have Bowers at 7. It's close. If Brock Bowers lands in the right system, I might be willing to move him above Rome Odunze, should that happen. But for now, I'm going to stick to the talent of Rome Odunze. But Brock Bowers is a phenomenal player in his own right, so he should go soon here.
Yeah, I figure he'll go pretty quick here. All right, Steve, where are you going here?
Yeah, that was my thoughts. Tight end premium, the number one tight end. He had 20%. He's a ball hog. 20% his freshman year of the whole team's offense. Last year he had 23. Brock Bowers, again, I hate to say he's a can't miss prospect because we see this all the time. What happened to Kyle Pitts? What happened to this guy? That guy took McBride half the season, a year and a half forever to get picked up. But I would take my chances here with the 1.6. That's the kind of where I have him graded at 1.6 value. So I'm going to take Brock Bowers.
All right, perfect. So for me here, next pick, and I feel like this is one of those picks that it's going to be potentially even higher by the time the draft rolls around if he really does end up getting like this top 10 draft capital. But I'm going to go JJ McCarthy. So the thing for anybody watching here, I know it looks kind of weird with just the 4 teams here, but think of this pick as 108 right here. So we're not necessarily stacking May and McCarthy. We're just kind of going in order like this. So the next pick here, 109 for Jamie. What do you guys think of McCarthy there? Is that too high, too low, about right? What do you guys think?
I think the first 8 are always going to be the first 8. Those first 8 players that we picked should always be the first 8 players. You can, rearrange them if you want to somewhat, but those 8 players I think are pretty much locked in for me at this point.
Yeah. Then I got Brian Thomas going number 9. That's where I would have gone with that pick. What about you guys?
Yeah,
Brian Thomas would have been my pick too.
Yeah, I think this is the exact order as you guys are going to see it. You know what I mean? I don't know about Thomas next level. He's got all the stats. He's got all the whatever. But, like I said, everyone else was like the alpha one on their team. So he's more of a PFF hopeful, more of a statistic guy. But once the top, 7, 8, 9 get off the board, that's where Thomas goes usually.
Yeah, that's where I'd go. And then, A.D. Mitchell. Okay, I like that one. So some other receivers on the board that are available for you. What makes you lean Mitchell over the rest of the guys there? We got like Ladd, Worthy, Troy Franklin. Just to name some other guys there on the board still.
I like the athletic profile that A.D. Mitchell offers. I've said before, I think I'm not sure why he doesn't get more comparisons to Brian Thomas. Seems like Brian Thomas has kind of become a de facto 4th wide receiver here, but A.D. Mitchell is really talented. The highlights of A.D. Mitchell are every bit as good as the top 3 options. He's a little more inconsistent at this point, but I think that he falls into he'll probably get mid-round to end of first round draft capital in the NFL draft, and I'd be happy to take him. This would be the 10th pick overall in a dynasty league. All day. Sign me up. I love it.
Yeah, that's about the range. I think that's about right there. All right, here. So 111, where are you going here, Steve?
Yeah, now this is where it gets a little quick because I can go a couple ways, and there's a couple different people you can argue. And this guy here, lately, people have been fading on him. So by all means, correct me. But when we first started doing these drafts, I had him as a wide receiver 4, and then he dropped a little bit to a 5. He's a vertical threat down the field. And the guy I want is Troy Franklin. I just feel like it's a safe move. There are other people on the board that I may have questions with, but with Troy Franklin, at least I know what I'm getting. So
That's okay. I figured that I'd be able to get Franklin at number 12. I felt like I've been a little bit higher than him, especially after his combine performance. It seems like he dropped. So yeah, I like that pick. I would have taken him right in that same range there. So for me here, I'm going to pivot another guy I didn't expect to see it still be here at 112. Xavier Worthy. Keep that run on receivers going here. All right, back over to Jamie here. So this would be 201 in the draft. So any major surprises? This all seem about right to you guys so far?
Makes sense to me. I think it's a little earlier than I would take Xavier Worthy, but it's another one. The upside's sky high. I just worry that Xavier Worthy can be. I've seen a lot of little short receivers in the NFL who are very fast not work. Tyquan Thornton comes to mind. Tavon Austin comes to mind. But is he fast enough? He set the record for the fastest player in combine history. Maybe he truly succeeds that. I also have a few questions about his hands. So I'd have him a few picks lower than that, but I get it.
Oh, so we got Jamie breaking the seal on running backs here at 201 with Jonathan Brooks. No arguments for me on that one. He's my top rated running back. I think you could make an argument for a couple of the receivers on the board ahead of him, but all in all, I'm okay with Brooks. Is this about the right range for you guys too?
Yeah, generally you're seeing in drafts either early second, you'll see like whoever the top guy is, and everyone has a different opinion. Then like middle second, you'll see like the run start going off the board, whoever they want. But usually the if you have a 2.1, 2.2, it's dealer's choice. Whoever you feel is like the top running back, that's usually where I've been seeing them go as well.
Ooh, Keon Coleman here. He's a guy that I don't really get it because I feel like his testing in his offseason has gone about how you'd expect. So it seems like people have kind of soured on Keon Coleman, and I don't really quite understand it. But you're obviously not scared off of taking him there. What would be the 202? Talk about that one just a little bit.
People are scared off on the idea that he can't separate, and I see that he can struggle with separating, but first off, he's a physical monster who has great hands and is great after the catch, who was asked to return punts. I think that he probably falls to the late day one, early day two of the NFL draft, which could be a great situation. Like you tell me he drops into Buffalo and I'm all in, right? Or Kansas City at the end of the first round, and he'll push up even higher than that. I think Keon Coleman's a really good player. And I've seen, comparisons. Somebody just mentioned Quentin Johnson a little bit ago. I think he's got way better hands. His hands are not that bad. Quentin Johnson's hands were always questionable. Keon Coleman has great hands. He just struggles to separate. That can be taught. His route running will improve. I'm still very in on Keon Coleman.
I like that. I was in on him pretty early, I feel like. And so it's good to see you still here with me on him there, a few months after we had, some more stuff to analyze there. That feels good there. So here, 203, which way are you going here?
Back to Keon Coleman, that would have been my pick too. Everybody bags him for his speed. He's never been a fast guy. That's not his game. He's a yards after a catch guy. And so is my next player. He's got this impressive yards after the catch ability. This may be a good range. This may be too early, maybe too late. It all depends on, the eye of the beholder, I guess, what draft you're in. But this guy here I'm about to take, he got 98 receptions, 1,425 yards, 10 touchdowns. I'm going to take Ladd McConkey here. I feel like he's one of the topper, elite, premium receivers. As you can see, there's a lot of blue on this board, so I kind of want to get one of the last guys here, that, in my opinion. So I'm going to take him here.
That's a bummer. He was the top guy on my board left, so I think that's a good pick there.
He was the top receiver on mine left, so we're all in agreement on this.
Okay, good.
All right, so here I got to shift gears here. So at this point, I feel like there's like a tier break in the receivers. Like early on, I feel like there's we got 3, 6, 9 receivers that are gone off the board that I feel pretty good about early second. This is where I'm kind of like, okay, do I want to shift off here, grab another quarterback? Do we grab the next tight end since it's a premium here? But I'm actually going to go in a different direction here with 204, and we're going to keep the running back trend going a little bit here. I'm going to go with Trey Benson here. Obviously helped himself with a good combine there. I think he's pretty close to a lock for going second round. Third round is like the absolute floor, like top of the third, I would imagine. He's going to be healthy right away, so I think that's going to push him to the RB1 for a lot of people just because they don't want to wait for Brooks. So here, 204, I'm good with Trey Benson here.
You know what's funny? I think we're all reading, or we're all having the same information. We got the same homing pigeons going on here because you're taking my players, I'm taking your players. That's exactly the pick that I wanted here. And I feel like in regular drafts, especially Superflex is so fun. You got quarterbacks, tight ends, but I think this is where the run usually happens. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Ooh, Roman Wilson. Okay, he's a guy that's definitely had a good stretch through the combine here. He's definitely had his stock raise here. Roman Wilson. Let's see. I got 2, 4. I got 7 guys ahead of him on my board still. So it feels like a little early for me on that. How are you guys feeling about Roman Wilson at this point?
It's a little earlier than I was looking to take him. I have a couple of receivers between now and there, but it's maybe a half round earlier than I'd have taken him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember because, like I said, we started our analysis so early in the season. I can't remember if Roman Wilson was a dude and then the Senior Bowl kind of screwed him. I think that's why I'm a little down on him. I have him more grade as a 3rd round pick, but when we first started, I had him in the 2nd. I can't remember his pedigree per se. I mean, he's a speed guy, right? But I have him a little lower than this.
Yeah, he's an athlete. He's a great athlete.
Really good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was a Senior Bowl or something happened with Roman that I kind of took him down a little bit. But earlier, that was right where I was taking him.
JJ knows my pick here. This is where I'm going to go with it. I know I'm the highest in the world on Jalen Wright. I'm fine with that. I have him as my running back 2. I have Trey Benson 1. I have Jalen Wright 2, and then Jonathan Brooks. I just think he moves differently. He took 136 carries last year and ran for 1,000 yards, 1,010 yards. The most carries he had in a week was 19, where he went for 136. He had 43 forced tackles on 136 rushing attempts. That is an insane number. He's a fantastic receiver. I just watch him and I see Aaron Jones. It's just a running back who can pick up 6-7 yard chunks of yards and be a fantastic receiver out of the backfield. I'm hoping he goes to Dallas in round 2 and drops right into a starting role, and then he would go much earlier than this.
So I was gonna ask you how you're feeling on this. So we've done 7 or 8 mock drafts before this, and I feel like in the very first one, you got him late 3rd, if not in the 4th round, and then it just seems like each one we've done, you've had to go a little bit higher and higher to draft him, and now clear up to 206. Everybody else has caught up. So I will give you credit on that one. You've been in on him 3-4 months ago when we first started talking about this class together here. You were already in on him. So how does that feel, just kind of seeing everybody else catch up to you on that one?
It's validating. It means that I'm doing something right. So it's good to hear it once in a while. I make plenty of mistakes, so I can't always pat myself in the back, but I do like to see that I'm right once in a while too.
Yeah. Well, you did. You nailed that one. I'll give you full credit on that one. So here we got 207 up next. Which direction are you going here?
Well, if I can get Jalen Wright, I would, because that was my RB3, and I know this is starting to be a little pandemic. We keep so I think this is where the run is, and like I said, I guess in a real draft, I'd probably take my next man up, and there's probably 2 running backs I can choose here. I'd probably take next man up and hope to maybe trade to get that, because Jalen Wright has been rising ever since he combine 4.39. I think that's what he ran, 4.38, something like that. So RB4 is the question. This is like a Cracker Jack. You don't know what you're going to get draft class. There's a couple guys here. I'm going to give you the popular one that everybody kind of likes. I'm not a fan of this pick, but I'm going to take Blake Corum here just to take him. Blake Corum ran a 4.43. He's on that Michigan team. He's a go-getter, what have you. I didn't really want him as a running back, but I know I need a running back, and this is usually around where you get him at.
Okay. I like that one here. So I'm going to keep the running back train going. And this is a guy that the first few games I watched on him, I didn't love him. And then everybody around me was really high on him. So okay, I'm going to go back and kind of watch. I'm going to pick 3 other games to watch, see what I'm missing here. And I don't know what it was, but it clicked. And so it's a guy that I've jumped all the way up to my RB3 spot here. And that's going to be Marshawn Lloyd.
Nice.
I think that he is going to be a better pass catcher at the next level. Part of the reason that he didn't have a lot of pass catching is just because Caleb Williams was not checking that ball down, man. That guy was getting out of the pocket and he was making something happen downfield. But when he did get the opportunity, he looked really good as a pass catcher. I think has the potential to be one of the better in between the tackles runners in the class as well. So get him all the way back at 208, Marshawn Lloyd. Yeah. And I guess it's just a lesson, don't be afraid to change your opinion on guys when there's other information. Don't always get take, lock, and stick on your players. Because when it first started 3 months ago, I was this is a late 3rd round player, but I go up even a little bit higher than I grabbed him here at 208 now.
Yeah, the only thing that scares me with Lloyd is, he has some fumble issues. That's about it, but he can clean it up next level. He can easily be the RB3-4 in this draft class, easy.
Yeah, I think so too. Xavier Legette going next here. So that's going to be pick 209 right there. Xavier Legette, that seems like a little early, but I mean, he's one of the best one of the best players with the ball in his hands after the catch, besides maybe like Malachi Corley. What do you guys think of Legette here?
It's too early for me. I'm not a Legette guy. All the knocks that I think Keon Coleman gets about being able to separate, that's the concerns I have with Xavier Legette and the fact that he did it one season. We're talking about one season of production for a player who was in the same system 4 straight years at South Carolina. So I have a few concerns there. And then we heard how big and fast he was, and he went down to the Senior Bowl, and he wasn't. Exactly. And he struggled to separate, and he dropped the ball. So I think I have Xavier Legette at about 36 overall. So it's a little too high for me here.
Okay. Yeah, agree with that as well. I think Roman and him have the same storyline. They were hyped up early on. He's supposed to be a speed guy. Went down to the Senior Bowl. It didn't translate as well. So I had a 3rd round grade on him as well.
Okay.
I am going to take the next quarterback. I'm going to go with Michael Penix Jr. here. I think this is about right. I think this may be a little low, because I've said it before, that Penix's concern is going to be the health grades. His left arm is among the best in this class, right up there with Caleb Williams and Joe Milton for biggest arms. The question is going to be, how mobile was he? How's the concerns, or how does the health look? Well, we won't know about the health until the actual draft, I guess. But his pro day, he went out and ran I think 4.53. That's quite a bit quicker than I actually thought he was going to be. Yeah. So he's not going to be picking up big yards down the field, but I think all he needs to show is he can avoid pressure within the pocket, because I don't really want him running for big chunks of yards, but I want him to show off his big arm and hopefully start attacking the middle of the field a bit more. But I think he's going to be a starter in his rookie season. So if I get a starting quarterback in a super flex league in his rookie season at, let's see, we had pick 25 here.
Yeah.
Something around like that. That's pretty good value. I'll take that all day.
Yeah, absolutely. He was the top guy on my board, so I think that's the right call there. I was hoping I'd get him here, my next pick. So 211, where are you going here?
There's a couple different ways. This is kind of interesting the way the board fell. I can go a lot of different ways to build this team. I think, I kind of like my draft board. What's up, Jamie?
What's going on, guys?
I see you.
Sorry I'm late.
That's good, man. Your picks are amazing. That's all that matters here. I think as it's a tight end premium, I think I'll play it safe. I'll take the second tight end in this draft class. I'll take Sanders. All-around good athlete, 4.6 speed. He's going to get in the field. He's going to be another target hog. I'll take another tight end.
Yep, tight end premium. That seems like about the right spot for it.
We're right in the draft to a mid-second on a tight end. I won't have buyer's remorse either, so that's what I'm looking at.
Oh, man. Okay, so I'm in a weird spot here right now. So I feel like the guy I have on the top of my board, I feel like I can wait another turn and get him still. So I kind of want to grab the guy that's going to be the second on my board, because I think one of you three is going to grab him. So we're going to go off my board here a little bit. We're going to stick with the wide receivers here, and we are going to go, where is he at? Malik Washington.
Jeez.
Okay. Man. All right, let me hear. What are your thoughts on that one?
So what rounder is this in a 12-team league?
That would have been, let's see, pick 212.
All right, because I've been taking him at the end of the 3rd round in every single one of my mocks. He's one of my sleeper, and I would feel comfortable taking him where you just did.
Yeah, I was worried that one of you guys would get him if I tried to leave him out there another turn.
Again, if we're talking 3rd round, you're pretty much at this point. You're putting you're at Costco with your Costco card. You're putting your layaway card. Hey, let me get this. Let me try this. You know what I mean? What were we at, the 212? You said?
You'd be like, 212 there.
Yeah, it's close enough to call your shot. I wouldn't have. Me personally, I got a couple guys ahead of him before I would have took him. But I mean, if it's your guy, it's your guy. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to fault you for a late 2nd, early 3rd.
Yeah. Take my swing there.
He's got 4.46 speed. I mean, those guys usually translate okay in the NFL. Landing spot would probably be key.
Definitely, yeah. Ricky Pearsall going next there at 301. He's a guy that's definitely gotten a little bit of a rise here during the combine and everything. What's your thoughts here on Pearsall? A lot of good receivers still on the board here. What makes you go Pearsall's direction there?
I just keep seeing him go between like 207 to 212. I really barely see him fall to the third round. So I thought that was a pretty good value. I don't like his age. I know he's a little bit older of a prospect, but he's going to produce for the next 3-4 years before he hits his age apex.
Yeah. Good pick.
I was thinking about Ricky Pearsall. That was one of the options certainly on the list here. So now that he is gone, I am going to pivot back to the running back position. He just talked about a player that's hitting the top of his age apex. I will take one of the youngest 10 players in the history of the NFL when he is selected, and that is Braylon Allen. 6'2", 245, big guy, obviously. I actually think he can catch better than he's given credit for. I think teams are going to love his pass blocking. If he gets into the right situation, I think that he can be a top 35 back as a rookie in the next couple of years. And I said, for a guy who will not turn 21 in his rookie season, he has a long time where he could be productive in an NFL system. So I'm very happy getting him here.
Yeah, that's a good pick there. He was in consideration on my last one there. So here we got pick 303.
Yeah, and this is where you start, trying to take your shots on players. Like I don't really think anybody would like message us in the chat. Maybe Joe Bond would. Joe Bond would. He would come at us and say, "Hey, that was a bad." No, I'm teasing. He would not. There he is. Speaking of devil, ask and he'll appear. Right now, I'm kidding. But I don't think anybody would actually criticize you for taking your guys here. I have a guy a little deeper, and he's starting to make waves. Let me tell you about him real quick. He played 92% in the slot. You know how that translates into the NFL, okay? He doesn't beat folks downfield, but he doesn't have to. And he's going to get kick return, punt return value. So at least the leagues I play in, there's going to be value. This is what's interesting about him, okay? His player comp was DK Metcalf. I don't know if they're still calling him that now. But if you look at his stats through college, he's got a pretty good body of work. And again, what I'm looking at is I can't pronounce the first name. Is it Malachi Corley? But Corley's my guy here. And again, it's a third round pick. I don't know if that's early or if that's too high, but I'm going to take my shot with him.
No, that seems like about the right range. He's arguably best after the catch wide receiver in the class here. So
his nickname is Yak God. That's all you need to know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
When your nickname is Yak God.
So, okay, yeah. So the guy I had on the top of my board here. I'm glad I waited around here. He's still here around later. Partly I knew you're a little bit down on him, so I figured that there's a good chance to make it around. We're going to go with Devontae Walker out of North Carolina here. I know, man, a lot of people have soured on him. I feel like he's had such a weird stretch to get where he's been at. I had to come in the season, middle of the year. I don't know. I feel like he's going to be a better NFL player than he was in college, which I know is a cliche. But give me my boy Walker here. Clear it. What's this, a 304? Yeah, I'll take that all day.
All right, yeah, Javon Baker, man, that's going to be my pick. I'd be happy with him in the second round, honestly, and getting him this late at 305?
305, yep.
Yeah, I'd actually, personally, I kind of like Javon Baker over my last pick, like Pearsall. Just in Dynasty, just because of the age factor. I think Javon Baker's got that dog factor in him. He's got good size, good speed. I've actually seen him as high as wide receiver 6 in some people's rankings.
Yeah, I think we've seen him go in the second round in a few of the mock drafts that we've done already too. So yeah, good value this late.
Yeah, he was my highest rated receiver that was left there. So that he's seeing him go off the board, I am going to go back to the quarterback. Well, I will take Bo Nix here. I think there's a chance that we see Bo Nix go to the Falcons pretty early, or as a backup to Kirk Cousins, or possibly to the Raiders, where I think he could be a starter, not that donked on the road. Somebody who's going to be a starting NFL quarterback we're in the third round of a typical Dynasty or a Superflex draft here. Sure, I'll take that.
Yeah, like that there. He was the second highest guy on my board here, so that was about the range. If he made it down to me, I probably would have gone off my board there, and I would have probably taken him with about the right range, but arguably even a little bit late. All right, here. So next up, we got 307.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the running back because I notice I'm kind of thin at that position. This guy's a 3-star recruit. He's just a bruiser, pounds over the middle. Has a really good historic background with 2 college teams. Ran for both 1,000 yards, both of them. And you guys know the name because he's trending up as we speak. But I'm going to take Ray Davis here out of Kentucky. Profile, he's probably a day 3 real life player. But if he gets on the right team, he could grind it out for us. Pass blocker, catcher, runner. He's probably going to be a 3-down player on the field. That's what I'm kind of looking for this late in the draft, to be honest. So Ray Davis is going to be my pick.
I like that. That's a good pick there. Good value there. Let's see. For me here, next guy up, we are going to go with the tight end premium, and we're going to grab Ben Sinai.
Sniped again. Dang it.
Love
Nice.
that pick. Wait, here, get it clear at 208 in the tight end, or I guess, 308 in the tight end premium. Give me that all day.
I've actually seen Sanat as tight end 2 on some people's boards.
Mm-hmm. He's 3
So
for
I
me.
like that pick. Yeah. So this guy is going to be a sleeper for me. There's always a question of who this year's Puka is going to be. Well, there's not going to be another Puka this year's draft. There's no way you're going to get a guy this late in a draft that's going to be a top 10 receiver. But a guy that I keep seeing comparisons to is going to be McMillan. So I'm going to go ahead and take McMillan here with this pick and just hope for the best, see if I can get some value out of him.
Yeah, that's a good value there. I like that pick a lot. All right, where are you going here? We got pick, what's this, 310.
I am going back to Florida State and back to the receiver well. And now I will take all 6'7", 250 pounds of Johnny Wilson and see if an NFL team can figure out a way to utilize his big frame and teach him how to catch the ball a little bit better. If he can catch the ball, he reminds me so much of Vincent Jackson in that he doesn't always catch the ball all that well, but huge body, can be an absolute red zone weapon day 1. And then I actually think he's a pretty good route runner. So I'm going Johnny Wilson.
He reminds me more of a tight end. So in this tight end premium, like who knows, they could always move
If
him
he
to
gets
tight
tight
end.
end eligibility,
Great value.
oh man.
What's he, 6'7", I think? Something like that?
6'7".
6'8"? He's pretty
6'7".
darn tall.
Yeah,
It's huge.
huge target there. All right, 311. Where are you going here, Steve?
I'll tell you, CK's having a hell of a draft, and I'm kind of glad to be doing this with you. You know, they have like professional house cleaners. I would love for you to be like a professional fantasy draft cleaner. Like, can you take some of my dirty leagues and just clean them up for me? Every single pick that I think I got a guy, he takes it. So I'm kind of pulling this one out. This isn't really like a deep throw, but I just want to tell you a story about this guy here before I reveal it, okay? Sophomore season, 41 catches, 691 yards, 3 touchdowns. Junior year, 69 catches, 1,354 and 7 touchdowns. Transfers to Arizona. So this is last year. Transfer to Arizona. Don't know what's going to happen to the guy. 85 catches, 1,034 yards, 7 touchdowns. The reason why this is significant, because his first couple years, he played on the outside. Over at Arizona, he played in the slot. So this guy can do a little bit of everything. CK's nodding his head. He's a college guy. He knows where I'm going with this. What are we in, 3rd, 4th round? We're in the 19,000th round. I'm going to take Jacob Cowling, and I'm going to hold my breath that he lands somewhere good. Jacob Cowling is my answer.
What are your thoughts there, CK? Seems like you like that pick.
Yeah, I think Jacob Cowling. So I think he's going to go day 3 of the NFL draft, but he's very undersized. But we just saw how successful that was with Tank Dell. So if you get him in the right system where he can operate underneath as a slot option, he has great hands. And he was talking about how he moved to the slot. That's because next year when we do one of these, we'll be talking about Arizona's outside wide receiver named Tet McMillan, who is like 6'5", 230 and an absolute monster weapon. And we'll go with the first round of the next year's draft. You have him? Yeah. Congratulations. So that's why he moved to the slot, because they have more stars on that team. But yeah, I like that pick there. I think he was the 2nd highest receiver I still have left. So good job.
You guys are both in Devy leagues?
I have one. Yep.
I have a couple.
I'm not a Devy guy, but from what I heard, tell me if I'm wrong, CK. Next year's draft, I know this year's load at wide receiver, we're putting running backs. Next year's draft, it's all about the running back, is it not?
Yep.
Yeah, so some of the bigger running backs that would have been eligible this year, the biggest one being Fabian Henderson, still back at Ohio State. And then they have Quinshon Judkins, who was at Ole Miss, transferred to Ohio State. So arguably the top 2 running backs in the class are at the same school. Nicholas Singleton's at Penn State. He's a star. Yeah, this next one's going to be good in running backs. There'll be some very top-end receivers. Evan Stewart, who was at Texas A&M, transferred to Oregon. And Luther Burden at Minnesota at Missouri is Jalen Waddle 2.0, Ted McMillan, and then quarterbacks will be a little thinner next year. So you'll have Shador, you'll have Quinn Ewers, we'll have some more we'll talk about. I'll come on the podcast and give you all previews in the fall.
Heck yeah. I got starstruck when you said Waddle 2.0 right there.
Oh, dude. Watch him. Watch him.
So here, rounding out, let's see, this will be the end of round 3. I'm really torn between 2 players here. And I feel like depending on what kind of preference and how you like to build your teams and what kind of profile you like, you go either way here. But I'm going to go Bucky Irving here.
Nice.
We're going to go here. I feel like he's just like in short area, like the most elusive running back in this class. Doesn't maybe have that top end speed, but as long as he's able to get those 6 to 10 yard gains, like that's all the coaches are going to care about. May not even need to have like a 20 touch a week role to have a fantasy relevant role there. Yeah, Bucky Irving 312. Sign me up for that.
Yeah, that was going to be my pick here. I know he had a bad combine. But you know who else had a bad combine? He's what, top 5, top 6 running back this year playing with McVay. I mean, you can't beat that in the 4th round. So this pick, because I just got sniped again. I don't like anyone here, honestly. It's 4th round. I'd probably end up selling these picks for someone. I'm just going to go Spencer Rattler, I think.
Okay.
Put him on my Texas squad. Who knows if he does get a starting job eventually, I could, sell him for a late second, just like I've seen a lot of other receivers or quarterbacks go for.
Yeah, I mean, I saw like a stretch in like one league where a guy capitalized on the DTR hype this year and got a late second for him. And like that little stretch where he got named the starter before he basically just lost the job in one game, basically. Yeah. So, I mean, you get those quarterbacks in the super flex league, if you time it right, yeah, you maybe turn it into, higher third, even a second, like you said.
Okay. I am going to go with the player that I consider to be Xavier Worthy Light. I think Xavier Worthy gets all the hype for his speed and his downfield ability, but I am going to go to Jermaine Burton of Alabama, who averaged over 20 yards a catch last season. I think that a lot of what we see out of Xavier Worthy, where he can get down the field, Jermaine Burton can do just as well. Xavier Worthy had Quinn Ewers, who has a huge arm throwing him the ball. Jalen Milroe at Alabama, much more of a running threat quarterback than a passer, but I think that Jermaine Burton is going to be more highly valued by NFL teams than we think, and I think he could be very good for fantasy.
I think that's a good pick there. It's the highest I think I've seen him go in any of our mocks. But yeah, he does seem like a guy that he's gotten a little bit of steam here late in the process.
So this is how weird this draft is, okay? Like, there are not the greatest running backs, but there's guys, if you squint it's like going in the M&M's bag. You want the yellow one. If you can just go in there and squint your eyes, maybe it's an orange, maybe it's red. It might taste good, right? There's a guy buried deep, and I've had to shut my mouth about him because I was tweeting him up during the offseason. I don't play Devy, but as soon as Super Bowl happens, I start looking at college. There's a guy right now, he led the nation in all-purpose yards. Kind of like low-key. Then he goes to the Senior Bowl, and he starts running these wheel-outs and starts burning everybody. So, then I kind of shut my mouth a little more. And then all of a sudden the combine, I mean, he doesn't blow the combine up, but he still gets a 4.5. 4.5 will get you on the field. 4.5, you can still, so it's just a question of whether or not you can block. Tape looks good to me. I'm taking Dylan Lobb.
Okay. I like that. Easy pick for me here. The other guy I was considering made it back around here, and I am a sucker for running backs that can catch passes. Give me some Will Shipley here.
Nice. Former 5-star recruit, too.
Yeah.
So this pick here, I'm just going to go name value only. Super, super athletic family. I think you guys know where I'm going with this. I'm pretty sure both his parents, all-stars, both like his brother, and even his grandpa, I believe, was like a high-end athlete. So I'm going to go with Luke McCaffrey. Oh,
I thought you were going Frank Gore when we talked like bloodlines here, man.
Oh, no. McCaffrey family. I think he has a better bloodline.
Can we talk about that? What is with all the siblings in this draft class? Not just offense, but IDP. There's so many connections, father, son, brothers, nephews. What the heck?
And I got to call a timeout real quick. We have a very important question here from Joe for you, Steve, here. What is the best type of M&M? Regular, peanut butter, On the spot. I know you didn't have a chance to study for it, but what's the answer there?
I didn't get a chance to study, but give me the green ones because nobody wants them. Just like my fantasy drafts. If you don't want a 3rd round pick this year, gimme. I don't think I have a single 1st round pick. I probably had a 2nd. You know what I did in Jamie's league? I'm like, look, here's my 2nd. Can I have 3 thirds? Thirds are worthless. That's what you say, right? I'm getting guys like Lob. What else do we have here? Burton, Irving. Give me those 3rd round pick. I probably told on myself, but yeah, that's how I play the M&M game, Joe. I take the ugly ones that nobody wants.
Oh, so you said your favorite is green?
Not really. I'll eat whatever. And M&M's. I'm just making that. I was making that metaphor.
What about on the inside? Are you like regular?
It's all about the peanut butter. It's all about the peanut
Steve, what happens if you pull out an M&M and it turns out to be a W? Are you going to throw it away?
Oh man, everybody here, that's what you came for, the hard-hitting M&M analysis.
I'll tell you, man.
Right after Easter.
Right after. Oh man, exactly.
I'm so glad Joe is listening to this because now that we have Jamie here, who's going to really listen to our podcast now? If Jamie's on here, we have nobody listening.
Man, I love it.
Awesome. You cut the middleman out, didn't you?
Exactly, bringing him straight in. All right,
right to you.
What do we got here? 406.
I am going to go a little bit off my board because I think I can get my top player in the next round here, but I'm going to go back to the running backs for a short running back, 5'8", but bowling ball size, 218, and took 295 carries last year, which he generated into almost over 1,600 yards and 14 touchdowns. After doing that, almost the exact same thing the year before, I think Amani Vidal has a future pretty good workload in him in the NFL. He's built really low to the ground. He kind of reminds me of MJD. I'm in on Amani Vidal.
It's a good pick there. He's another one that I've heard recently. It seems like a lot of people are kind of starting to pick up on. Wouldn't be surprised if by the time we get to May, we're talking about him as like a 3rd round pick, the way that he's kind of rising.
So the board's kind of throwing me off here. I got to do quick math. What round are we in?
We are 4-7 right here.
Okay, 4-7. This is like we were calling our shots before. We were throwing darts. Now we're literally just sharpening the pencils. Like we don't know what's going on. There are still names on this board. So I mean, I'm just going to ask you guys, what the heck happened to this player? This player, 41% outside, 59% in the slot. He had 18 yards per catch. He made national television against the Stanford game. He had 5 catches for 100 yards. Why is Jalen Polk falling? He was a 2nd round grade when we first started these. Now he's all the way in the 4th. He'll probably be in the 19th by the time we're finished. What the hell happened to Jalen Polk?
That's a great pick there. That's who I had.
I'll take him. I'll kick the tires on the hubcap, but I don't know what happened to him.
I have concerns about. I'll tell you my concerns about Jalen Polk. So my concern with Jalen Polk is I got suckered in by. He's on the Browns now. Cedric Tillman and some of those big receivers who are not fast and cannot pick up a bunch of yards. Cedric Tillman was like that. I kind of like Grant Bowes going into the draft class last year or 2 years ago, and he got drafted in the 7th round. I just don't know how fast that it can Jalen Polk actually separate, or was the Washington offense where he was the 3rd option and got the worst of the corners the reason that he was open all the time? That is my concern with Jalen Polk.
Sadly, I'm still hanging on to Tillman Love. I'm still hanging on. Didn't get a lot of touches last year. I'm hanging on. I just did a 54-man best ball draft. I think I got him like the 49th round. To your point, what happened to these guys? But I'll take a shot. You never know. There may be a guy in here.
But that is why I'm down on him. I'll tell you that. I get why you're taking him for sure.
Yeah. For me here, it's getting a little bit bare, but I'm going to take the guy that, hope can turn into like a Kmart version of LeGarrette Blount. We're going to go Audric Estime here. 408. Don't love the player, but this slate, I think it's worth a shot. I think there's a good chance that he can carve out a role, even if it's not like a largely fantasy relevant role. He's maybe a guy that, can fill in during bye weeks, injury weeks, maybe fall into the end zone. Give that short yardage type guy, goal line type back. Audric Estime here.
All right, so my pick here, after the combine, I saw him shoot up all the way to the middle of the 2nd round, which I thought was crazy. So if I'm going to get him here in the 4th round, which we're at the end of the 4th round, this guy had a pretty decent combine, and that kind of put him on people's radars.
Mhm.
What's his name? Isaac Garendo. That's going to be my pick here.
Did you see that combine though? 97% broad jump. I think it was 98 vertical, and then his speed was the top in the class. Like, holy smokes. I didn't even have him on my radar until the combine, to be honest.
I didn't even heard of him before the combine, so
He's another ex-Badger. His Badger transfer to Louisville. So yeah, those Badger running backs, man, they have success in the NFL. Just ask Jonathan Taylor. So we'll see if it works out for Garendo too. I'm going to go with a player, so I'm just going to take someone random here because he is not in the player pool at Sleeper. So I will take Luis Reese-Zamit, unless anybody really wants him. I don't know how many of you are drafting rugby players who just got signed by the Chiefs, but I'll take him. That's Tyrone Tracy to me. I texted JJ today and said, one of my last views is Tyrone Tracy from Purdue. So Tyrone Tracy was a receiver at Iowa who transferred to Purdue and was turned into a running back. So you can see that he has not had a ton of running back experience, but he still ran for over 700 yards, had a couple 100-yard games. Obviously, he's a fantastic receiver, has good size, 6'1", 210. This is what the NFL is looking for right now. These hybrid type of options who can catch and run. I think he'd be great in a zone scheme. I'll shoot for the upside this late in the draft.
Yeah, that's a good take there. Yeah, I did. I went and watched a couple games of him after, and yeah, I think you're right on the money there. I think he's going to be a guy that he catches on, can maybe even get like round 5 or 6 capital. There's a good chance that he could eventually carve out a role, kind of like a Jaleel McLaughlin type role.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, 411 here, almost done. What's your last pick going to be here?
You know, when Jamie was talking about Bloodline at 11.1, I thought he was going with this guy here. And I don't know, DNA is a funny thing. I don't know if strong hands, strong catching hands can be translated from father to baby, but this guy got it. He's got strong catching hands. I guess he'd be the red M&M, what Joe was saying earlier, instead of the green M&M, whatever, but he can catch the ball. Difference is he's bigger than his dad, right? He's got a big, tall frame. He's really good at them slants. His profile says he's QB friendly. So I guess that's what you say, give him the ball. He's a top 20 receiver in this draft class-ish. He's on everybody's radars. He fell to the 4th here, and not to mention 4.5 speed. So give me the other Rice, not Jerry, but give me his son here, Brendan, and that'll be my final pick.
Nice. And then I'm going to wrap us up here. Similar thoughts to what Jamie said with Rattler here, taking a quarterback to throw on the taxi squad. I'm going to throw my guy, Mike, 412 from Tulane, developmental quarterback. May not ever turn into anything, but he's the type of guy that if he ever found his way into a starting role, like injury or something, I could see him having a few weeks of fantasy relevance, putting up some points there, especially in a super flex league this late. Give me all the quarterbacks. All right, man. That's a good draft there. So, all right. So real quick here, let's just go like each team here. So Jamie, what is your favorite pick of yours? Like what's your favorite value you got out of all these guys?
Honestly, it's going to be Neighbors.
Okay.
I think I put it in the chat earlier. He is my 103 in Superflex. So if Harrison's gone, Caleb's gone, I'm going to go Neighbors over those other quarterbacks. And I honestly don't even know if I want to put Neighbors over Marvin Harrison because I hear they're just like super thin. They're close. Just who knows? Like Neighbors can end up better than Marvin Harrison Jr. So
yeah, I mean, he falls in the right role. Absolutely. What about you, CK? What's your favorite value out of all your picks?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I would say I don't know if it's a value. I still like Jalen Wright. I'm not going to call that one a value though. I'm willing to push that up. I'll say Jermaine Burton in the 10th round. I said I don't think there's that much difference between Jermaine Burton and Xavier Worthy. They're both undersized, speedy receivers who in the right NFL system are going to be asked to attack down the field vertically. Neither one of them is going to be asked to be operating underneath. So to get him, 2 rounds later and essentially in a draft, I'll take that over time.
Yeah, I like that pick there. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I'm looking because, like all of my picks, I think I got, a couple picks early grade on them. You know what I mean? But if I was to pick, it'd be one of the tight ends being tight end premium, Sanders or Bowers. I'm guessing I'll go Bowers. I mean, I got him at the 7th. It's TEP. You probably see him at 5th or 6th. It's only 1 pick difference, but that's kind of all you need each round. If you can just get a little bit extra ahead each round. So I like Bowers there.
Yeah, especially for the tight end premium. I can see that.
Right.
Marshawn Lloyd in the 5th is in the running for me, but just going off of where I got him, I think I'm going to go Will Shipley down in the 10th. So that'd be 404. just a guy that I think his pass catching is going to get him on the field sooner rather than later. Can actually get out in the slot and run real routes. He's not just kind of like a slant and an angle type guy there. So yeah, 10th round, Will Shipley. I'll take that all day there. So man, I appreciate you guys all hopping on. This was a lot of fun. Let's just real quick before we go, tell us all where we can find you and what you got, what you guys got coming out here soon. Let's start with you, Steve.
Oh my goodness. What am I not? Okay. So I'm doing a team articles at IDP guys right now. So I have 5 articles I have to write in the next couple of days. Then I have on Dynasty Nerds, we got like an IDP draft going on. This is like the second one we're doing. And then Joe's bothering me about M&M peanuts. So I'm going to have to message him and give him some peanuts as well. And then I'm here for you. Whenever you want to do a draft, I'm here for you. Whatever you need. These are fun. Let's keep them going. Iron sharpens iron. Oh, geez. Here we go. The color orange, but best type is peanut butter all the way. You know, I like some chocolate peanut butter. I agree with you, Joe. For once, we agree.
You're both wrong. It's the red peanut M&M, not the peanut butter, the peanuts, like the solid one in there. That's the correct answer. What about you, CK? What do you got coming out soon?
Oh, so for Fantasy Six Pack here, every Tuesday I'll have a fantasy baseball article coming out. This week is things to watch for, and then after that, it'll be players to drop. On Fantasy Pros every week, I have a fantasy baseball article on like 10 burning questions. And then every week I record the NFL Draft War Room podcast on the In This League fantasy feed. So you can find me all over the place.
Yeah, busy time for you there with baseball starting and the draft. I can only imagine how busy you are between that and day job and everything right now. And then James, this was our first time recording together. We're definitely gonna have to do this together. This was a lot of fun. But what about you? Are you doing anything coming out here soon?
And the announcements, Jamie?
So first of all, I'm on Going for Two. I do a fantasy cheat sheet every Tuesday during the season. Right now, we're doing it every other Tuesday until we get closer to the season. I spend most of my time on Facebook. I run a fantasy football group. We have 40,000 members.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's called Fantasy Football Discussion. I know Joe's part of it. Steve's part of it. And then recently, just I'm going to be doing some stuff with my boy Steve here with the Fantasy Six Pack, with IDP articles coming up. So after the NFL draft, I think we're going to start getting going with that. So that's very, very exciting for me, and I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, man. It's been awesome to have you here. Awesome, man. And then for me, follow me on Twitter. Got a new ranks update in the works right now. Just about done with that. Joe and I are getting together behind the scenes next week, trying to work on a trade calculator for the site that we're kind of putting together a little bit. But I mean, for me, it's a little bit of a lull until the draft starts. But I mean, we're going to be here every Monday, getting you guys ready for the draft, and I'll have some content coming out on the site here soon. I'll make sure we tweet all that out. But again, appreciate you guys all showing up and hanging out with me, guys.
You got it.
Anytime.
Anytime.
See you guys next week.
See ya.